VirginiaSports.com here with men's golf coach Bowen Sargent. Coach Sargent, your team had to go up to the Navy Invitational last weekend and have a solid performance. You went into that tournament one win over 500 on the season. You have to be above 500 to be invited to the NCAA Championships. Picked up a bunch of wins there with the co-championship. Tell us a little bit about how your team played and that kind of performance down in the clutch.
Well, it was nice to see the team perform when they needed to. We picked up 17 wins and 1 tie, so very important for the postseason. I thought they played well. It's always nice to get a win, which kept our streak of wins alive over the last few years. So hopefully it gives us some confidence heading into ACCs.
Now, you really enjoyed the Naval Academy golf course. It's an older golf course. What did you like about that setup?
Well, it was a William Flynn design, an old architect, one of the most storied architects in the history of the game. It's built in 1916, just an old classic design, a really good golf course, made you think, positioned the ball in the right places. I think it hopefully taught our kids a lot about how to play an old-style golf course.
This week you're taking the team down to New London, North Carolina, right outside of Charlotte for the ACC Championships, held annually at the Old North State Club. But you're going down there without the reigning ACC champion. He's going to be at home redshirting this season. So what does that do for your team's chances, and what are your realistic expectations for this week?
Well, obviously having Ben win last year was awesome. It was our first ACC champion in a long time, so that was nice to see him. Personally, I'd like to see him going back down there to defend, but he's not. And you know, we've got 5 guys that are capable of going down there and play. I know Denny should have a very good chance of winning. He played well there last year. As for the team, you know, I think we got a good chance. You know, anything can happen. Certainly we're not the favorites, we all know that, but it's a week that you've seen champions come from the middle of the pack, and you know, if it's our week, I think we can certainly play with the Georgia Techs and the Dukes of the world, who are probably the favorites on paper.
Coach, you had an interesting tweet this week, a great observation that not only was Ben Roos the reigning ACC men's champion, but
Brittany Altamari is the women's ACC champion. So I don't know, but we may be the only school in the history of men's and women's golf in the ACC to hold both the reigning champions at the same time.
Coach, you know, the ACC tournament has been held down at the Old North State Club for a couple of years in a row now. Would you like to see it maybe move around a little bit, get a little variety for where the championships is held every year, or do you like having a permanent site?
It's nice. You know, they do a great job down there at Old North State, and it's a great championship, but it probably wouldn't hurt a little bit to see the tournament move around and add a little flavor. I know the ACC championship, both of them are owned by the McConnell Group, where they play the women's championship at Sedgefield and ours at Old North State. And I know he owns 5 or 6 different courses. I think it would be a neat concept to see them rotate between maybe those 5 or 6 courses, but maybe using Old North State as the anchor or the base.
Now, we talked earlier about the fact that with the win, the co-championship up at Navy, you picked up a lot of wins. Your team's way over the 500 mark, which you have to be in to go to the NCAA Championships here. You still got to have a good performance, a solid performance at the ACCs. A couple of weeks from now, the NCAA is going to announce the regional fields. How do you think you sit right now going into that?
Well, presently, as we speak, I mean, we're on the bubble. In terms of wins, we're definitely over. You know, we're 17, 18 wins over. So we've got that knocked out. Now it's going to come down to the rankings. You know, we'll need a good week again this week, and certainly we're capable of doing that. Historically, we've played that course very well. So hopefully this year's no different.
And speaking of playing well, recently Nick Trimps went out and won the Green Hills Invitational, a local top amateur tournament. We've had a couple of players in a row go out and win that tournament. Talk a little bit about Nick's or his performance there and what it means to win that tournament.
Well, it's kind of been a springboard for several of our players over the year. You go back, we've won it 4 years in a row now. You go back to Mac McLaughlin, his freshman year. He used that to springboard himself into the lineup at ACCs and played very well there as a freshman. And much like him, Nick, had a very good week there, beating Mikey Moyers on his home course, who's an all-ACC performer this year. I thought was tremendous, and I think his play this week at Navy showed some of that confidence. So again, we're looking forward to having him in the lineup here at ACC's, and hopefully he's taken some momentum from that tournament and compounding that with Navy, and he'll go into ACC's hopefully on a high note.
Well, thanks again, Coach Sargent, and good luck this weekend down at the ACC Championships.
Thank you.